Hi, my name is Brandon Miracle, and I am one of the founding members of ROM-AID. Now, ROM-AID is short for Range of Motion Aid. Now, before we get into ROM-AID, I feel it's important that you get a little bit of history and better understanding of us. That way we can give you a better understanding of why we developed ROM-AID and why we feel this product will benefit you. My wife and I have been the owners of CrossFit Surge for 7 years. Prior to opening the doors of CrossFit Surge, we've been in the strength conditioning field for over a combined 30 years. Now, in that time frame, we've been able to have the great pleasure of working with athletes of all ability levels, from novice athlete all the way up to professional athlete, working at the highest level of their given sport. Now, during that time frame, we've seen a lot of commonalities and similarities with these athletes when it comes to mobility issues, especially in the hips and the ankles. And for years, while we've tried teaching them proper squat mechanics and better balance and help them increase their power output and help them not only prolong their athletic career, but also help them be more consistent in their training career. Now, during that time frame, we've sought out all different methods in which to help these athletes do so. Oftentimes, we see athletes that have issues with dorsiflexion, where they can't get their knees to track over their toes properly, so it inhibits them from sitting down through a full range of motion and standing up correctly. So what we would resort to is we would try to lift their heels up, similar to using a weightlifting shoe, by using plates or other apparatuses underneath their heel to increase their plantar flexion to help them sit down and stand up through with a much more upright position and keep their balance across their foot in a better position as well. And so it was effective, but also had limitations to it as well. And so we would also use weightlifting shoes. Okay, now a weightlifting shoe is obviously specific for weightlifting. It has been shown time and time again to help increase athletes who are lifting weights. Now, it is very similar into the side of it has a heel lift in it, similar to what the plate does, of helping increase athletes with their plantar flexion so they can let their knees track over their toes better, and it allows them to squat through a fuller range of motion with a more vertical torso. Now, the other components of a weightlifting shoe are the heel width. It is a wider heel width to help give a better support of balance and structural support for the athlete to sit down and stand up on. Now, the other important part I want to point out is the heel hardness, okay, the rigidity of the heel. Now, it's very stiff, unlike your normal training shoe. Even if you're using minimalist shoes, the foam on here the foam in a weightlifting shoe is going to be a lot harder and a lot more dense compared to your training shoe. Now, the reason for that is it helps. For one, it helps with that balance and stability. When you're even squatting in your normal training shoe, the foam there is going to have a level of imbalance that your body's going to have to work around in order to be able to sit down and stand up correctly. Now, a weightlifting shoe is a lot harder, and it doesn't really have those problems. The next part of that is because it is hard, it also helps you increase your force production, which in turn is going to help you lift more weight. So by increasing your force production, it allows you to increase your speed and in turn increase your power, which in turn is lifting more weights. Now, what we saw after we worked with a specialist in the given field of ankles and feet, and came up with a product that would kind of combine both of these realms, which is ROM-AID. Okay. Now, what ROM-AID is, it is a wedge that we developed specifically to mimic these two apparatuses. Okay. Now, it's a wedge that can be simply applied to any shoe, either under the sole or either under the insole or on top of the insole, depending on your comfort level, and give you the similar feeling of a weightlifting shoe, but at the same time, a similar benefit to it. Okay, now we've developed two different wedges. The first wedge we call our power wedge. That wedge is a much harder rigidity. It's a much harder surface. That's going to mimic much more closely to that of a weightlifting shoe. So on those days in which you're just slinging some weight around, you're throwing, you're squatting, you're snatching, you're cleaning, you're doing all those type of things, and you need that stability and that extra support to create, to give you more of that force production. That's the the reason why we developed the power wedge, to help you get that specific similarity that a weightlifting shoe would be. Now, the other wedge we developed, we call our hybrid wedge. That one is to mimic that. It's a little bit softer. It's still a harder surface compared to your normal training wedge, but it is a softer wedge. So when you're doing workouts, especially CrossFit type of workouts or high intensity interval type of workouts that incorporate running, jumping, double unders, jump rope, toes to bar, all those kind of movements that normally performing in a weightlifting shoe might seem a little uncomfortable. Now you can perform those in your normal training shoe, but at the same time get a similar benefit of that of your weightlifting shoe. So you can get that same crossover effect of being able to run and jump, but then come over and grab your weights and snatch and squat and clean in the same comfort that it would be of your weightlifting shoe, but get the same usefulness and transferability of your training shoe. So that's what ROM-AID is. It's a wedge that we specifically worked with specialists on to develop that can help you work through a better range of motion, but at the same time get the same effect of that of a weightlifting shoe. So hopefully that answers your questions, you guys. If you have any further questions, please feel free to let us know. If you're a coach or a box owner, we would love to touch base with you guys more. If you have questions, we'd even love to set up a time frame where we can come out, show you firsthand what our ROM-AID wedge can do for you, and even more importantly, your athletes. So please don't hesitate to let us know if you need anything from us, you guys. Thank you for your time. God bless. Take care.